It's over. Caitriona Balfe's husband bullies hell. The heartbreaking truth he kept hidden for years. The curtain of peace. Caitriona Balfe woke up at dawn in the small villa located on Cork Bay, where she and her husband, Tim O'Donnell, moved in the middle of last year. Tim, a successful businessman in the field of real estate investment, was the person she trusted and loved. For Caitriona, an award-winning international actress, life seemed to have entered a peaceful state, free from the pressure of the halo. They dreamed of a real home, a corner of the room overlooking the sea, a lyrical morning with coffee, the sound of waves. But behind that flashy rush, Caitriona began to feel something was wrong. A cold wave crept into the room. In the mornings, Tim suddenly fell silent when she mentioned work. Instead, he looked at her with a scrutinizing gaze. At noon, he walked into the room, startling her with red eyes. In the evenings, he dropped a sarcastic sentence, "Do you really think you deserve that?" Just as Caitriona happily shared the news. With Tim, everything needed to be controlled. But to outsiders, he still smiled politely and kindly. Only Caitriona understood that he was hiding a truth very deeply. The first fragment. Recently, Caitriona felt like she was living with two people. The easygoing Tim, in front of friends, lovable at parties, and the Tim I know, was full of sharp words, impatient, and had difficulty accepting her success beyond his reach. One afternoon after a film crew meeting, she returned and introduced to her husband the news that she would be taking on the lead role in a new international series. Tim was silent. A few minutes later, he snapped back, "Another? I feel like I really don't know when to stop." "I'm proud of you," she replied softly. "Yes, proud. But do you think about us?" Caitriona smiled faintly, but inside she felt a sense of loss. That night, she woke up to strange noises from the study, a knocking on the desk, the sound of paper being torn. For a few minutes, she tried to stay calm, but she felt that she was gradually losing her priority, becoming the second person in her husband's private world. Secret in the dark. One late autumn evening, she happened to find an undeleted email in Tim's desk drawer, half reproach, half confession. She skimmed through it, and her heart stopped. He, in wise, reproachful words, "You forgot what is most important." He, in a mood to blurt out, "I can't let you become far beyond me." That night, she confronted him. Tim was silent. The last of his tears made him burst out, "Don't you see? You are standing in front of the world. And I am just behind. What are you saying?" She choked. "I respect you. But I don't want you to surpass me." That night, she cried silently. Stepping into the bathroom, she watched the waterfall, not just a bit cruel, but a deep pain, from the person she had sacrificed to trust, to love. Subtle loop. Over the following weeks, Caitriona noticed that every little reproach was laced with subtle support, leaving her confused, asking, "Is this really what I want?" Little by little, she lost her little confidence. For example, she was hesitant to talk about a charity project she wanted to participate in. Tim tactfully told her, "Maybe we should wait for me." Caitriona, sensitive, had to ask, "Did you really say that?" Tim simply smiled and hung up. She gradually learned to be silent about her own proposals. This took away all her creativity. A part of her ego gradually faded away. The ultimate pain. One day, she read that a big project had been awarded to someone else, despite the promises she had heard from the producer. When she got home, she posted an optimistic status. In the evening, Tim did not mention the news, but he left a long poem on the table, saying, "Under the surface of the calm sea, the deep will gnaw if not sheltered." Caitriona confronted him. "What are you talking about?" Tim lowered his voice. "I just want you to know, not all silence is peaceful." She suddenly understood. He was learning to break the smallest dreams with the form of false reproach, to keep her under control. A subtle pain, a psychological torture that had lasted for years, but she had never realized that it had taken over her entire life in her head.